Hi, I'm Tess. I'm an under 93 kg junior powerlifter and coach. And I've squatted 175 kilos, benched 125 kilos, and deadlifted 242.5 kilos. And during the last week before my last peak, I injured my knee, or more exactly the quadriceps muscle, or the tendon that connects the quadricep muscle to the knee so badly that I currently can only do 2 or 3 sets of bench with leg drive a week, squat around 10 kilos for around 5 reps, and deadlift around 30 kilos for also 5 reps with minimal pain. This is why I think I'm injured. Whilst you might not be injured or plan on getting injured anytime soon, you can more or less use this as a cautionary tale on what can be issues, on what can be problems, either for you right now or perhaps in the future for both your own programming or perhaps the programming of someone else. I personally, for myself and for my other clients or client, like to during the not peaking or off season to use a very low intensity, quite a high volume approach. Before this block, my squat PB was 175 kilos, my bench PB 122.5 kilos, and my deadlift PB 242.5 kilos in the under 93 kg class, weighing 84.55 kilos. I, during this block, was benching around 90 kilos for 5 to 6 reps, about 5 sets, which is roughly 74% of my 1 rep max. I was deadlifting between 170 and 175 kilos, also for about 5 to 6 reps, also about 5 sets, which is about 71%. And I was squatting around 125 kilos for also 5 to 6 reps, also around 5 sets, which is also about 71% of my 1 rep max. All of these sets, which I'm also showing you right here, were usually around the 6.5 to 7.5 RPE range. So bordering on very low intensity. After this block, I had a pre-peak block because I realized that the competition I had was closer than I first thought. So for this block, on squats, week 1 I did a triple on 140 kilos, which is 80%, and I did 3 5s on 132.5 kilos, which is about 76%. The weight had never moved easier. This, however, was about a 5 to 10% increase, or a 15 kilo increase, on the heaviest squat I had done for the past 2 to 3 months. The week after that, I went up another 15 kilos to a triple on 150 kilos, which moved at a lightning speed, which was a matched PR, and moved like an RP 7, perhaps 7.5. At this point, I had in 2 weeks gone up 25 kilos from a weight that I hadn't increased in the past 2 months. The weight was faster than ever, but my knee didn't really appreciate the sudden increase in both intensity, weight, with an insufficient decrease in volume, which was only about 30%. During this sudden increase in intensity, or more likely, after the second to last week of low intensity, high volume, I started to feel some things in my knee. It wasn't fully painful, but I could feel that there was something brewing. There was something there. I have felt some similar things before, like everyone does, just normal aches and pains, but this time it didn't go away the next day. But even though I felt it, I kept pushing. Walking down the stairs, I could feel the knee pain the most, and during most of my squat warm-ups, I could feel the same type of pain, but it always passed right before my top sets or during my warm-ups, until it didn't. When warming up, I personally prefer to have quite a minimalistic approach to warm-ups, which can cause problems, specifically when you have a weak point or particularly problematic body part. My warm-up that I did before squats was 5 reps of 5-second holds in a dumbbell weighted groin-ish stretch for my annoying hips, a few bodyweight squats whilst holding a 10 kilo plate in front of me for my still annoying hips and depth issues, and that was it. I also always jumped from the bar to 75, then 90, then 105, and then 120. And then from there on, depending on how high I was going for my squat top set. Or sometimes also straight from 105 to 125, which personally felt like good jumps to me, which are about slightly below 10%. Right before my injury, I did change my warm-ups to also include a few reps of quite easy pause abductor machine for my glutes and a few slow eccentric sit-ups for my core. But this was probably a little bit too late and not addressing the right areas. I've always been quite poor regarding my nutrition, usually either eating too little, too much, not enough protein, or drinking way too little water, usually around 2 liters a day, which is not enough. I had also recently started a job which was not physical in the slightest, but it did mean that I had to wake up earlier, which most likely affected my sleep a little bit, as well as changing the times where I could work out, which also could have slightly affected my performance, ever so slightly. What I should have done and what you should do. I should have listened to my body. I should have more gradually changed from my low intensity, high volume to lower volume and higher intensity and more weight. I should have warmed up more, targeting more of the muscles used in the squat. I should have started tracking my nutrition. For my warm-ups, when I felt that my knee was bugging me, I should have started warming up my quads more too. And if the pain didn't go away, I should have stopped the workout then and there, if the pain was above a 3 or 4 out of 10. And I should have stopped and not gone any heavier and reevaluated then already. For my programming, even if my strength can survive the quick jumps in weight and intensity, which it apparently did, the rest of my body can't. I should have, like I did for one of my clients, after the low intensity, high volume block and the high intensity, high weight block, I should have had a transition block somewhere in the middle. I could have done some slightly heavier triples, but keeping the old intensity on the back downs and volume work, which I could then increase about 5 kilos on squats each week, 2.5 on bench each week, and 5 to 7.5 on deadlifts each week, starting from about 5 to 7.5 kilos above the weight for the low intensity, high volume work. One thing else I could have done was to have one higher intensity 5 or 6 rep set each workout, or once a week per exercise, to just get the body used to actually trying again and feeling some higher weights in my hands and on my back again. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like. Instagram link in bio. And if you are interested in frighteningly cheap coaching, just DM me there on Instagram. Free Palestine. Bye.